Welcome to Practice Playbook, your go-to podcast for mastering the art of practice management as a financial advisor. I'm Brandon Chapman, an independent financial advisor based in Vancouver, BC, and the founder of AdvisorFlow. Each episode of this podcast is adapted from a live webinar and distilled into a quick, actionable format to help you grow your practice with clarity and purpose. In today's episode, we're diving into Founders Forum, stacking the tech with guest Kelly Gustafson, who's a financial services consultant at Etcetera Projects, as well as St-Pierre, co-founder and COO at Laylah. We've also got Tarsem Basraon, who's the co-founder of Planworth. Together, they explore how combining AdvisorFlow, Laylah, and Planworth can streamline workflows, keep your practice organized, and deliver greater value to clients. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine an established practice, this podcast offers real-world advice to help you succeed. Let's dive in.
Imagine this. You're an independent financial advisor, feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed, disorganized perhaps. Client data seems to be everywhere but where you need it. Compliance is a constant worry, and you feel like you're missing chances to really connect with clients. It's a feeling many in the industry share. But what if you could actually future-proof your practice? Move past those pain points. That's exactly what we're diving into today.
We're digging into some fantastic insights from the Founders Forum, Stacking the Tech webinar. It was specifically designed for advisors like you.
Right, and it brought together some key players.
It really did. Kelly Gustafson, who's basically Canada's go-to expert on tech integration for advisors, was there. Plus, the founders of three really interesting companies: Laylah, AdvisorFlow, and Planworth.
And the core idea wasn't just about buying more tech, was it?
No, not at all. Brandon from AdvisorFlow put it perfectly.
The goal isn't to gamble with these tech decisions. It's about making informed choices that align your practice's goals and tilting the odds of success in your favor.
So our mission here is to give you some solid, actionable takeaways on using modern tech. We're talking about tackling those common headaches.
Right.
Ultimately, it's about freeing you up, right? So you can actually go talk to people and help them with their finances, as they put it.
You know, Kelly Gustafson kicked things off by outlining these core pain points for independent advisors, and honestly, they felt so familiar, so universal.
Like what specifically?
Well, she painted this picture, right?
You operate multiple lines of business: insurance, investment, group benefits. You have hundreds or thousands of in-force insurance policies, a few hundred households, investment accounts, and some group business, a dealer or outsourced PM firm, an MGA or two with 10 or 20 carrier contracts, maybe some direct contracts for group, maybe a TPA. You're licensed in multiple provinces, you're managing a team, and you're such a nice guy or gal that you've taken on some acquisition business along the way and have yet to speak with most of those clients. You feel disorganized, you feel overwhelmed, and you're missing opportunities. You want to generate more insight from your in-force block and take better care of your clients' needs in a proactive way. You're worried about meeting your compliance obligations. You struggle with fact-finding and data gathering processes, and you have no consistent or thorough way of getting your clients' information. You need to develop or refine your client onboarding experience. You'd want to deliver on-demand convenience, but you don't know how. And actually, all you really want to do is just go talk to people and help them with their finances.
Yeah, sounds about right. These aren't just little annoyances, are they?
Not at all. They're fundamental roadblocks. They get in the way of client care and they stifle business growth. It's pretty serious stuff.
Okay, so that sets the stage really well. If those are the big challenges, what kind of tech solutions did the founders talk about? What's emerging?
Well, a huge theme, maybe the biggest, was data management.
Wow.
JC from Laylah, for example, he really hammered home the power of CRMs, but specifically CRMs designed for independent advisors.
Not just any CRM then.
Exactly. His platform, Laylah, isn't just about pulling data together. The key thing he stressed was cleaning and standardizing it. So you end up with
to make sure that you have basically one client file per client with all their products, all their information, all your communication, etc. And then we want to build a software that's super intuitive and fun to use for your whole team.
Okay, that alone sounds transformative. Think about the hidden costs of digging through fragmented info.
Totally. It's a fundamental shift, moving towards a unified, clean data. Game changer.
And tied into that, another major pain point is just the whole process of gathering client information in the first place. It could be such a drag.
Oh, definitely. And Brandon, the founder of AdvisorFlow, he spoke directly to that. He mentioned how frustrating he found the old way, endless PDFs, Word docs, and Excel sheets.
Been there.
Right. So
AdvisorFlow is really focused on streamlining data gathering. So we've really built those industry standard templates to help with reducing inefficiency and sort of that back and forth communication that can happen with prospects or clients, particularly in book purchases. And then we provide a collaborative online portal that clients will want to sign into to get information on their situation and give you information to help you build a better financial plan for them. Ultimately, we're helping advisors with the accuracy of the client data they gather and ensuring they gather it at the right point in the relationship with that client. Ultimately, this improves communication with clients and will enhance workflow with your team. That's AdvisorFlow.
Which, let's be honest, is half the battle.
That's huge because it helps firms that, as Brandon put it, have too many clients to speak with and have a hard time categorizing who's a real prospect. This sorts things out earlier.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got data organized with something like Laylah, gathered efficiently with AdvisorFlow. What about the actual planning part, engaging the client on strategy?
Yeah, good question. That's really where Tarsem from Planworth came in. He talked about a big gap he saw in the market. He said,
most clients, unless they are in the high net worth or ultra high net worth space, do not have access to what we refer to again as holistic financial planning. Some may refer to it as comprehensive financial planning. But the same concept, which is that clients have a plan that deals with all aspects of their financial wellness.
That's a massive segment of the population.
it really is. So Planworth aims to boost financial literacy and help people make better decisions. It even has this neat sandbox mode in the client portal. Clients can actually go in and sort of play around with their own financial plans, see how different choices impact things.
Interesting. So it's kind of democratizing access to that deeper level of advice.
That's exactly the idea, making comprehensive planning more accessible.
Another term we often use is advisors that are looking to essentially provide family office style of services. So for virtual family office.
You know, what's really striking as you describe these is how they're not just internal tools for the advisor's benefit. They seem to fundamentally change the client experience, too.
Oh, absolutely. That came through loud and clear. Brandon from AdvisorFlow noted that younger generations, millennials and Gen Z, they are looking for a more personalized, always connected experience. They expect tech to be part of it.
Right. That digital-first expectation.
Yeah. And Tarsem, drawing on his background, he used to be a tax lawyer, saw two big trends driving Planworth.
Hey, are you enjoying the episode so far? If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Connect with me on LinkedIn at Brandon Chapman and let me know what topics you'd like to hear next. And if you're finding this episode valuable, don't forget to leave a review or share it with a colleague who might also enjoy it. Now back to the episode.
Digital or hybrid planning and holistic or comprehensive planning. He even cited a J.D. Power study from Canada.
Oh, yeah. What did it say?
It found only about 7% of clients in Canada actually get holistic planning. But, and here's the kicker, those clients who do get it have way higher net promoter scores.
Wow. NPS, that's the big measure of customer loyalty, right?
Yeah.
So better planning equals happier, more loyal clients.
Directly correlated. It's pretty compelling evidence.
And beyond just making clients happy, there's always the elephant in the room. Compliance, risk mitigation.
Huge, absolutely huge. Brandon shared a story, actually.
So I recently went through an internal audit, and I got to say, having AdvisorFlow surveys for every client I've engaged with in the last few years, along with email summaries, was a real game changer. Ultimate compliance is about showing that you have a repeatable, transparent process and that you prioritize your client's best interest. And if you haven't thought through which technologies can help you do that, those audits can become much more stressful.
And Tarsem echoed this, especially for complex situations. He pointed out that with Planworth, you can model things like...
So being able to change a retirement age or adding a strategy like for example, corporate-owned life insurance or adding an IFA to that strategy on top of it and seeing the impact and the building blocks there is through something we call toggles and sliders. I felt was important. And then also being able to allow the client to deal with their plan after you're done and review it.
Okay, so you can show the client and the auditors exactly how you considered these factors. That's real value, and it definitely covers your bases.
For sure. It's risk mitigation baked right into the advice process.
You know, this focus on organized data and process, it also seems like it would have a massive impact on the actual value of an advisor's practice down the line, doesn't it? Like if you ever wanted to sell
Oh, profoundly. Brandon made a really stark point about this. He basically said,
So I'm thinking 30 years ahead for my own practice, as many of the advisors on our product are, in that the value of a book of business is going to be very much weighted based on how organized the data is and how streamlined your workflow is and how low the compliance risk is. If you have a ton of insurance policies and investment accounts that you've set up over 10 or 20 years and you have none of that data in a system you have any control over, I would pay much less for that book of business because I'd be buying a compliance risk. And as everyone knows, that's the biggest risk in our business, is if you have a compliance problem, you could be out of business.
Oh, that hits hard. So disorganized, non-digitized data isn't just inefficient, it actively devalues your business.
precisely. It highlights why getting your tech stack right isn't just operational, it's strategic. It's about the long-term health and value of your practice.
Okay, so bringing this all together,
Mm-hmm.
what's the future vision here? What should advisors be thinking about next? I know Brandon mentioned AdvisorFlow has an AI feature coming in 2025.
Yeah, he did mention that. Their first AI-driven feature, he called it, aimed at smoothing the transition away from some of those older, clunkier processes.
Makes sense. But what really jumped out at me was his call for something bigger.
What was that?
He talked about collective advocacy, urging dealers, the bigger firms, to recognize that advisors should control the client experience. He got quite passionate, actually. He said,
Ultimately, we need a Wealthsimple-like experience, but one where advisors, not dealers or tech providers, are in the driver's seat. Advisors are the catalysts for the financial change, and ultimately we hold the trust of our clients.
That is powerful. It puts the advisor right at the center, empowered by tech, not replaced by it.
exactly.
And that really reinforces Tarsem's point, too. He was adamant that adopting this tech isn't just about keeping up or surviving. He sees it clearly as a competitive advantage.
Right.
Because if you look at it as you're plugging in holes and, hey, I in order to survive, I need to do this, you're always going to be behind your another advisor in the field that is aggressively adopting technology and pushing sort of the envelope with what they can do.
He did note that Canada, for instance, is maybe still a bit behind the US in adoption, but he was optimistic. He thinks collaboration and supporting these homegrown Canadian tech companies can really shift things.
It's a call to action, then, for individual advisors and the industry. So on that note, maybe here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. The webinar drove home a pretty stark reality. Handwritten notes don't sell your practice well.
Mm-hmm. True.
In this industry that's moving so incredibly fast, you really have to ask yourself, how are you proactively digitizing, organizing, and strategically positioning your practice for what's coming? Forget just tomorrow. Think years down the line.
Yeah.
What concrete steps are you going to take, maybe even starting today, to make sure your practice doesn't just survive, but actually thrives, and importantly, leaves behind a valuable, secure legacy? Something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to Practice Playbook. If today's episode was helpful, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an update. For more tips and insights, be sure to follow AdvisorFlow on social media and stay tuned for upcoming episodes featuring expert speakers and practical advice to elevate your practice. Until next time, keep striving for excellence and building a practice that reflects your goals.